Strings are text. How about that? They are also called a reference variable type. Oh, why are we indented here? So there's reference variables. What are the other types of variables that we've learned? Like int. What's an int? It's not a reference variable. What? It's a number, but there's a type for that whole family. We also have learned about primitive variable types, int and double and Boolean. Those are called primitive variable types. We'll underline that. And strings are your first variable type that is available in any program that's called a reference variable type. They're handled in memory differently. The truth is, Friday when we were making frogs, you said frog, Freddy equals new frog. That also is a reference variable type. But, we won't worry about that right now. So, easiest way to create a string variable, you just type it out. String name equals, and then put the text in there. Or if you have a scanner, you could say, so you remember we learned about the scanners, how they have this next line. If you're going to get text from the user, that takes the whole line of information they typed and throws it into this string variable. Yes? Variable, no, these are the same variable name rules as before. So no spaces in the names. You can have numbers, but it can't start with a number. And you can have like operators, like plus, minus, times, divide, modulo. For some reason, you can use a $sign. But, I mean, that's not an operator, so. So strings can be concatenated. That's the fancy programming term for put together, like mushed together. Added together using a plus sign. So here's an example: string, new string equals name plus user. That just jams those things together. You can also use the plus equals operator. I mean, it's fine. And then, I already taught you this next thing, but remember when we talked about printing and how if you have numbers and text in a print command and put a plus sign, sometimes it adds the numbers together and sometimes it just turns it all into text. That's all just this thing called concatenation of strings. So, Java implicitly converts non-string data to string format when you concatenate. So you can say string x equals user plus 7. You literally can just do that, and it'll put a 7 after the username. Just turn it into part of the text. Similarly, if you if I said string t for temp equals 4 plus 5 plus hey. Anybody want to guess what comes out of that? 9 hay. Alternatively, hay plus 4 plus 5. This would be hay 45 because of the order that things are done in. See, on the first one, it's like, hey, I've got a number, 4 plus 5, that's 9, and then, oh, now I've got text. I'm going to turn this all into text now. And this other one, the first thing that happens over here is it says, okay, we got a piece of text, we got a string, and the number 4. Oh, that's just going to be hey 4. Oh, now we got another number, that's 5. So if you wanted to have the 9 in this thing, you could put parentheses around it. I'll just make one more string. Put parentheses around that. So if you had other variables and you had to do a calculation, you could force it by putting the parentheses around it. It would do the hey, and then before it did the plus, it would do 4 plus 5. We already learned about escape sequences. A tab is equal to \t. A new line is equal to \n. And backslash is 2 backslashes. This is if you have to put it in a string. And one I don't know if I told you before, but a quote is \, quote. If you needed to put quotes in a message that you were printing. And so we have 2 methods to use with the scanner class to get strings from the user. If we just say next, it goes until the next white space. So that's if you could ask, if you wanted to get the user to enter 3 values on one line, you could say enter 3 names and with a space between them. And then you could have 3 scanner calls, storing them into different variables. And you would use that next thing because it goes to the next white space. Whereas next line will take the whole line until you hit enter. And then we would just grab the whole thing and put it in one variable. All right, and then we have a ton of string methods. I'm just going to cover 3 of them today, and then we're going to do all the other ones on Wednesday. I didn't want to blow your minds today. I'm going to say scores of string methods. We only really have to know like 5 for this class. So the first is length. Returns the length of the string. Pretty obvious. And then we have 2 uppercase. What do you think that does? And 2 lowercase returns a lowercase version. All right, and I'll show you how those work in just a second. We'll pop over there. Yeah, I think there's just 2 other methods that we have to know. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Because I got to move on. And I know everyone's still writing this down. You could come look afterwards. It's going to be saved up here. So we got the three methods: length, two uppercase. Not surprisingly, the case of these letters matters. You have to say capital U, capital C, capital L, capital C. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the compiler. So string t equals, let's do this, Mr. Hayes, system.out.println, t dot length, and t dot to uppercase and to lowercase. So we'll run this. You'll see. I mean, it's pretty obvious. What you think might happen is what's going to happen. That string is 8 characters long. That makes sense. I mean, it counts spaces too. And here's my name in uppercase. Here's my name in lowercase. So notice these methods don't take any arguments, but you have to have those parentheses after them. You can't just say t.length. I mean, let's see what happens if I try. It says, I don't know what you're talking about. Cannot find symbol. Because that's not how it works. So let's see what happens if we do that. Yeah, again, can't find symbol. So, because these are methods, and methods always have parentheses, whether you're sending nothing over to the method or sending a parameter or an argument. Okay, well, that's it for the notes. We have a